Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to my channel, The Wake Up, where I share my experience with alcohol and my breaking point and what I'm doing to quit, tips and tricks and things of that sort in this series. So today is September 2nd, Tuesday. I am officially 9 days sober into my 30-day sobriety journey. So that's huge. Very proud of myself for that. So I had gone from weaning off for 3 weeks, and then now I'm into my 30 days completely sober. So what I'm going to be doing today is just kind of sharing my experience the last 9 days, some challenges that have come up, how I'm dealing with those challenges, some tips on what I'm doing for cravings and things of that sort, and some positive things that I've noticed, and then also moving forward, how I'm feeling and what I'm going to be doing. So 9 days, yeah. So 9 days have gone by. Prior to that, I think the longest I went, even on my wean off period, was 6 days. So I'm furthest along that I've been in my sobriety journey right now. Um, Happy to report no withdrawal symptoms at all. I feel great, actually. I feel great, so it's great. Um, some things that have changed from my wean off period to now. So with my wean off period, I was still able to have a few beers, like normally, like I would habitually do on the weekends, Fridays and Saturdays. So obviously, this time around, I had to deal with not being able to do that on the weekend. So that was kind of a challenge, like, because it was such a thing that I would do. It was just a never thought of. It's like, oh, okay, it's Friday, going out, gonna play some pool, sing some karaoke, have some beers. Saturday, same similar thing. So this weekend wasn't able to do that. I had gone out prior on my wean off days and had some like non-alcoholic beers, but this time I just said, you know what, I'm just gonna stay out of the bar. I'm just gonna get through it. But what's really helped me with that, and because one of the biggest issues that I've had with this is kind of being bored. I think I mentioned that before. It's just being kind of bored, and then the thought of having a beer creeps in. But one thing I mentioned before too is having a list of tasks, activities, having your whole day all the way till nighttime, planned out of things that you want to do, have to do, want to accomplish. So having that list has been huge throughout this past week, especially on the weekends, when I would think like, oh, it'd be nice to go out and chill and hang out. But I would grab my list and I'd say, okay, I've got this to do, I've got this to do, and it would shift my mindset, and I would get on those tasks. So having that list has been really helpful to curb any kind of thought of wanting to have a beer or wanting to go out or do any of that kind of stuff. So, and again, you know, uh, it hasn't been too bad. I did have, because I do still miss, the taste of beer. I actually do like the taste of beer. So one day this week, I was like, it seems so refreshing because it was hot. I was outside. I got in the pool, so I was like, okay. So I went to the store and I got some Corona Zeros, and that was good. It satisfied my want for the taste. Actually, the Corona Zero is pretty close to the real thing. So you get the flavor without the alcohol and detrimental effects from alcohol. So one day I did do that, and it quenched my thirst, and then it got my mind off of it. So that's, if you're somebody that's struggling with alcohol or beer. I know it's a little bit harder with hard alcohol. I know they do have mocktails and things that sort. But if you're a beer drinker like I was, if you ever just, man, that taste, I just want that taste. Uh, Grabbing a zero beer did it for me. So I'm sure it can work for some of you out there that are maybe struggling with the, wanting the taste. Um, so I did have that, and that was, it was good. I chilled in the pool, had that, satisfied my thirst for it, and moved on. So that was good. So positives, that I've seen over the last 9 days. My relationships all around are continuing to improve. My work life is improving. I've been doing water filtration sales. and it's been going pretty well. I'm really happy with it. So starting to earn some decent money, so that's good. And, and I think the not drinking is helping me be more focused out there, doing my job, and staying committed and really pushing to be successful at it. So that's a definite positive there. Let's see, I lost weight, so I actually went down. I was at like 184, 180, between 184 and 186 is my usual normal weight while I was drinking. Now I'm down to 176, 177. Plus from that is I've also continued to work out at home, do calisthenics, some dumbbells, ab exercises and stuff. But because of the weight loss, I am starting to see more definition in the abs here. So I'm happy with that. That's really cool. Yeah, that's always a plus. So, and then one of the biggest things is no more sluggish mornings, no more hangovers. Not waking up feeling like my head's pounded, that, I have this fog, can actually think, have a little bit more energy to get things done that I need to get done and do the things that I want to do anyway, So not feeling the after effects of drinking like that is definitely a plus, and I appreciate that too. So let's see, saving money too, so I'm not going out there and, every Friday, Saturday during the week, I'm not stopping and grabbing a 3-pack or more of tall cans. So I'm definitely saving money from doing that. I have been buying more bubblies, the seltzer water type drinks, so I've been just wanting something fizzy, but not really soda, so I've been having some more of those. So I guess that cuts a little bit into it, but definitely not as much money as I would have spent if I was buying the alcohol. So, and it's healthier anyway. And then I think I mentioned in my last video being interested in things I used to do again. So recently I started drawing again. So I've picked up my sketchbook and started doing some drawing, some portraits and things of that sort. And it's really calming and soothing, and it takes up a lot of time. So if there's ever an instance where it's like, oh, I really want to go have a beer, or I want to go drink or do something, I can always put on some music, grab my sketch pad and just start sketching. And then before I know it, a couple hours have gone by, and I've got a pretty cool start to an artwork that I'm working on. So that's positive too. So liking that I'm getting back into these things that made me happy before. So and I think that's part of it too, is like once alcohol kind of takes control of you, you start losing interest in wholesomer things, or things that you were interested in before, because you're always chasing, going and getting alcohol or what have you, you know what I mean? So you kind of put things, on the back burner, on the wayside, that, normally you would have, continued with or loved doing, so alcohol kind of replaces those things. And I think once you remove it, those things come back, and you remember why you enjoyed those things so much, so that's really cool. Other than that, just moving forward, so these 9 days that I've been sober now have gone by pretty easily. I didn't have too many challenges except for what I mentioned and how I have dealt with those. So I don't see the next 21 days being a big deal. I think they're going to go by quick, and I don't think it's really going to be that big of a thought in my mind. My plan with the weaning off, I think, was a great plan. I think it's worked perfectly. So if you're out there, you're trying to quit alcohol, don't put so much pressure on yourself. Start slow. Give yourself a little bit of slack. That's kind of what my idea was, when I came up with that plan to do, okay, I have an allowance on Tuesday. I can drink 3 tall beers on Tuesday. Can't drink anything more until Friday or Saturday, Friday and Saturday, where I gave myself a limit of 4 tall beers because it's the weekend, and I usually would drink more on the weekends. The first week I drank all 3 of those days that I allotted myself, but then seeing that I could do that and say, no, okay, I can drink on this day to a responsible limit, not drink until this day, keep to my limit. The next week I skipped the Tuesday completely and just went all the way till Friday and Saturday. And then the third week after that too, I skipped the midweek, So in doing that, it built up my confidence level It didn't feel so much pressure, which I think is very important when you're going to quit drinking. It can feel overwhelming. It can feel a lot like just the world's coming down on you somehow, you know. But if you give yourself a break and you give yourself a little bit of time, you'll start to see that, you know, you don't need the alcohol. You don't need it. Why do it, right? And you gave yourself that break, and then so in doing that I was able to accelerate my plan, because I even had further wean off for another few weeks that I just totally skipped because I was like, I don't even need it, you know. But it helped in the beginning to know that, hey, I'm not completely pressured to just quit right now, you know what I mean. And it, like I said, it built confidence, because now it was showing me that I could take back control even with having a little bit here and there, and controlling those cravings and sticking to my guns and my limits. And that boosted me. So then I was just like, well, I'm gonna accelerate the plan and go for my 30 days before it was scheduled, you know. But I think having that as a starting point to build your confidence, take the pressure off, is huge. So that worked really well for me. Um, and you got to remember too, when you're doing this, to stay committed, why you're deciding to do this. Why are you deciding to get sober? Why are you deciding to break the habit, break the control? You know, did you have a breaking point like I did, you know, where something happened to where you just, enough is enough? You know, something happened and you said, I can't do this anymore. I can't be this anymore. So that's what happened for me. But then also at the same time, you know, I always remind myself why I'm doing this. I'm doing it for me, for my health, both physically, mentally, and just for my bettering my life, you know. Uh, Working on my goals. You know, I think I talked about, I had set some short and long term goals for myself, you know. If you're drinking alcohol on a regular basis, I think I said it before, it's a hinderer. It's going to hinder you from chasing your dreams, going after your goals, making the life that you want. And especially if it's out of control, you know, you got to get it under control. So um, that's where I'm at with it. I remind myself of my whys all the time. I stay busy. I stick to my lists. I get things done, and I feel all around a lot better about everything. So if you're somebody out there that's struggling, I hope this video does help you. Know that you're not alone and you can do it, but just don't put so much pressure on yourself. Come up with a plan, something that you feel comfortable with, and stick to it. You know, remind yourself of why you're doing it, what's important to you, who's important to you, you know. There's all kinds of things out there that are way more important than drinking and getting drunk. I can guarantee you that. So I hope you guys stick with it if you are on a sobriety journey. I hope that my videos are helping you guys. I really appreciate you tuning into these updates. Moving forward, like I said, I'm going to continue the next 21 days through this sobriety, and I'll be updating again, you know, this following week, and on through the 30 days and beyond in this series. And then I think after this, I'm going to tackle my next vice, which is smoking cigarettes. So hope you guys tune in and, you know, support me on that as well. As you guys have supported me here, I really appreciate all of you. If this has helped you, please hit the like button, share this out so it can help others, and hit subscribe if you haven't subscribed. Really appreciate you guys. Anyways, hope you guys have a great week, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Thanks. Bye.